Now, as most of us know, vegans on the internet are about as mentally stable as those people who pour the milk first and then the cereal. And the people who we are going to talk about today are no different, because recently Good Morning Britain ran a story in which they talked about a school which banned meat from its menus, meaning that the students could only pick a vegetarian and a vegan option.
How would you feel if your child's school banned serving meat at lunchtime and only offered a vegetarian or vegan option instead?
Well, that's exactly what has happened at two schools in Lancashire and Worthing after they took the unprecedented decision to go meat-free. So, should all schools do the same?
Now I get it, it's 2022 and we're trying to be more progressive, but why are we forcing children to abide by certain rules? Why can't we just let them decide what they want to eat? If they want to eat meat, let them eat meat. If they want to be vegetarian or vegan, let them be vegan. Why are we forcing this agenda upon them? Let them decide for themselves, they're not that stupid. Okay, so the next part I cannot show you because for some reason it's copyrighted content, but basically they bring in two people, one of whom is a vegan comedian, which sounds pretty fun.
It makes life easier for everybody. I mean, my son is vegan.
Now, one thing I don't really fuck. Oh, for fuck's sake, I fucking spilled fucking chocolate milk on myself. Fuck! God damn it! Now, this is something that I don't understand with these vegan parents, is why are they forcing their child to be vegan as well? Why can't these parents just let the child develop, in life, and just let them decide, if they want to eat meat or not? If you want your child to grow up an intelligent person, you should educate him, of course, but you should also let him develop by himself. You should not indoctrinate him into these things. That would be like if a child was born and then his parents decided that immediately he should be, a Republican supporter. Like, that's just not right. Or Democrat supporter. Just let the child develop, let them, make their own way through life, let them decide what kind of choices they want to make.
He can never have school dinners because there's never a vegan option. So to me, it kind of makes sense to make it kind of accessible for everybody. Meat can get really complex as well.
Isn't that an argument for having better vegan options rather than just... Because it doesn't make sense for everybody, does it? Because it doesn't make sense for the people who want to eat meat.
I agree with the presenter here, because of course it is a good idea for vegan options on school menus, because what if a child likes vegan food? But you should not outright ban meat altogether from the entire menu. That's just stupid, and I'm pretty sure a lot of parents are going to be unsatisfied by that. What if there's a child, that likes, I don't know, steak? If he finds out that, his fucking favorite steak has been banned from the school menu, he's gonna be like, what the fuck, man, I like that steak.
It does make sense for everybody, because I think we all know by now that the CO2 emissions from meat are generally at least 10 times worse than a vegetarian or vegan option. If we want to raise the next generation to be kind of good custodians of the planet, it's definitely worth us kind of leading by example in schools.
What if there's a kid who's allergic to vegan food? Are you just gonna let him starve to death? I agree that CO2 emissions are a problem, but still, you cannot just ban meat because that's just, an oppression of free will. Rather, just raise the price of meat in supermarkets because, then it'll be more expensive to buy, but still, people will have the freedom to buy it. It will not be banned.
I mean, Jake, I suppose one of the arguments people might have is and we can come back on that point in a minute as well.
Look at Jake's face at that moment. He knows that his argument has a big problem, so now he has to clap back somehow.
What I have is that sometimes schools are strapped for cash. They're certainly strapped for time. There's a huge pressure on resources for even basics. And actually constructing a very balanced diet, not knowing what the kids are eating outside of school, could be quite challenging without meat there for people that rely on that as a chunk of protein.
Once again, I agree with the host. And also, I should mention that vegan food is much more expensive than normal food. And unfortunately, not every school in the UK has a budget of $100 million. Great, I said dollars instead of pounds, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be stoned to death by a Brexit mob.
Chickpeas have as much protein as meat, and they cost about £6.50 a silo.
Well, it's easy for you to say that, Jake, because you have a middle-class job. We're talking about an entire school here. It's much more complex than that.
But just to come back on your point about making an informed choice, I couldn't agree more, and I'll make a deal with you. I'll take your children round a potato farm and we can watch the potatoes being harvested and prepared to be eaten, if you're prepared to then take them round a cow farm and an abattoir, and then they can make an informed choice, and I feel like I might win.
I like that face that he did at the end there, because it's as if he knows that he made a mistake. Because let's face it, by the time the potatoes are done, farming, the children are going to be bored to death.
That's an interesting point, though, Brian, isn't it? It is important for our children to understand where their meat comes from and understand, because, undoubtedly there are farmers that are farming sustainably and things like this are hugely important issues for them. And actually letting the children understand where the food comes from, so from field to plate, is a big part of the whole education process.
Yes, I do agree that it's important that we teach the children about where meat comes from, but we shouldn't, ban children from eating meat, Let's just once again, just let them make their own decisions in life. Just let them be, they'll decide in the future. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching and for all of your support. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, turn notifications on. Please comment because it really helps me out in the algorithm. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Very good chocolate milk, though. It's very nice.
Disco, 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 disco. Disco.